So yesterday and day before yesterday, we have seen the condition option and top options, right? Condition and top options. So what we have to remember in this condition and top option is like, so let me go to a new sheet here. See, I want to filter the data. So when I drag customer name, like for example, any dimension into the filter shelf, okay, any dimension to filter shelf. If I use general option, right? If I go for general option, I can see I was able to select. I'm able to select all the customers here. So here I can choose only the values which are in the customer name. So in the customer name, what are the values? Like these are the persons, Aaron Bergman, Aaron Hawkins, like that. So in the general option, I can see only that particular dimension values only. Okay. Similarly, if I go to wildcard option, right? In the wildcard option also, I can filter the data based on the customer name values only. Okay. But if I go to condition option here, if I go to by field option, you see, I can link this customer name to any one of the measure here. So if I go to from this drop down, I can select any one measure here, like sales, or I can select profit also, like that. So this condition option and this top option both are different actually, which are different from this general and the wildcard options. So in the condition option and top option, we are linking the customer name, that is this particular dimension, into a one measure actually here. We are linking the dimension with measure values. So that is nothing but we are aggregating the data, or for example, if I take profit here, we are aggregating the profit at a customer name level. Okay, so we have seen this already. We have seen these two options, condition and top option here. But the important thing we have to remember here is we are linking that this dimension customer name with a particular measure here, or any measure here. And after that, we are applying some condition. So for example, if my profit is greater than or equal to 10,000, I can apply that condition here. Okay, in top option also similarly we are doing the similar type of thing. Okay, so here we can select any particular measure here. Okay, so for example, just give me a second. Okay, so remember these two things. So we have seen yesterday how to achieve the same requirement in the SQL. So whatever the requirements we are achieving with this condition option, right? We can achieve the same requirements with the help of one more concept also in the Tableau. That concept is called LOD concept. LOD means level of detail concepts. Okay, so just let me write some theory for it, then we'll go. So very important concept in real time. uh, so if you are able to answer these questions right, if they ask you, if they want to select you right, they will ask you questions on this LOD concepts. So if you are able to answer these questions right, then they will select you. So they will ask you some difficult things. If you are able to answer those, they will select you. So this is one of the important topics. So LODs. So LOD means level of detail. So the first option is level of detail. The abbreviation for the LOD is level of detail. And we'll see what is the definition of LOD. So level of detail means at which dimension, okay, I'll simply say we can aggregate data. So when I say data, right, you may take it as a measure. When I say data, you can take it as a measure. So we can aggregate data at particular dimension levels, which are in sheet or which are not in sheet, which are not in sheet. Okay, so let's say what is the definition of this is like we can aggregate the data at particular dimension levels. So I'll just stop it here. So this is the definition. We can aggregate the data at particular dimension levels. So in the LODs, we have three types of LODs are there. We have fixed LODs, and we have include LOD, and we have exclude LOD. Exclude LOD. Now, as per the definition, we can aggregate the data at a particular dimension levels using this LOD expressions. So when I say fixed LOD, so we can aggregate data at particular dimension levels at particular dimension levels which we use in LOD calculation. Which we use in LOD calculation. Only we can aggregate the data at particular dimensions which we include uh, those dimensions in the LOD calculation only. Similarly for include also, and I'll say some definition here. And can aggregate data at particular dimension level which we use in LOD calculation, which we use in fixed LOD calculation. Fixed LOD calculation and fixed LOD not depends on any other dimension. Fixed LOD depends on other dimensions except the context filter. Okay. So the definition for the fixed LOD is we can aggregate data at particular dimension levels. So those at which dimension levels means the dimensions which we are using in the LOD calculation. And apart from these dimensions which we are using in the LOD calculation, it does not depend upon any other dimension. For example, I have dimension 1, okay, I have dimension 2, like that I have so many dimensions. So if I use this dimension in this LOD calculation, right, then only this fixed LOD will depend upon this dimension. Otherwise, it won't depend upon the other dimensions. And include LOD also similar to the fixed LOD, but it depends on all dimensions, all dimension filters, all dimensions which are not using in include LOD calculation also. Calculation also. Okay, like that. And so this is bit different. These two are a bit different actually. So fixed LOD will not depend upon any other dimensions except what we are using in the fixed LOD. But include LOD, what it will do, it also aggregate the data at particular dimensions only, but it also depends upon the other dimensions also. Okay. Now we'll come to exclude LOD. So instead of telling exclude LOD, with one example, I will tell you what is the exclude LOD. Okay. Now let's take some sample data here. So with the sample data only, we can understand it very easily. So let me take some sample data here. I have one person name here. Okay. This person is spending some amount, spend amount. I can say spend amount. And assume that in which month he is spending that amount. Okay. So assume that I have some one person, A is there. He spent some 100 rupees amount. Okay. In which month means assume that in the January month he spent 100 rupees. And same person in the February month, assume that he spent 150 rupees in the February month. Okay. And assume that same person spent 120 rupees. Okay, 120 rupees in March month. So just try to understand the data actually, so that because of that reason I'm saying taking sample data here. So assume that like that we have data for this person in so many rows. And let's take one more person B here. He spent some 200 rupees the same January month. Okay? And assume that same person B spent like 1,000 rupees. Let's take some big number here, 500 in the February month. Okay, like that. Assume that we have one more person. He spent only 30 rupees in the like for example in the March month. So we'll modify the data based on our requirement. Okay. So I'm just saving. This is under which data we are saving all this data in a file. The file name is called B30 data players. Okay. And what is the sheet name here is like yeah, sheet name is sheet 12. So I'm just taking here spend amount, spend data. I'm renaming the sheet as spend data. Let's save this data. Okay. And you already know how to, so this is a row level data. Okay. Now if I ask you some question, a person A, how much money you have spent totally, not month wise, how much money he spent totally means what I can say, I can go to this row level data. Person A is existing in the three rows, 100 plus 150 plus 120, which is summing up to 370 here. Okay. So this is the aggregated data, 370. Now person B, how much amount money he spent? So he's like he's in two rows, right? So I can say 200 plus 500, which is 700. Okay. Now person C is having only one row only. So this for this person, what is the aggregated data means 30 rupees. Okay. So this is the aggregated data. So we can do this very easily in the Tableau, right? So you know already. So this is called aggregated data. Let's see how to do the same thing in Tableau. Of course, I have discussed the same thing in the first class itself, but let me tell you one by one so that you can understand easily. Now I'm just going to the data option here, connect to the new data source, Microsoft Excel, B30 sample players. So this is my Excel file name. Okay. Once I connect to this data, right? So I have so many sheets in the this Excel file, but we want we want to analyze the data in the spend data analysis, spend data sheet. So simply drag that sheet here. So when I drag that sheet here, I can see all the row level data here. So person A is repeating in three rows, B is repeating in two rows. So whatever the data we have in the Excel, I can see the same data here also. Now I can go to my sheet 4 here. Just click on the spend data here. So whatever the analysis we have done, right? So if you want to aggregate the data at person wise, what I have to do, I simply drag the name into the row shelf, simple, and into row shelf and spend amount into the text here. So which is very simple in Tableau. Whatever we have achieved in the Excel, so we have achieved very simply in the Tableau by simply dragging and dropping the fields here. Now, whatever this sheet is doing, right? Whatever we are doing in this sheet, I can do the same thing with the help of fixed LODs. With the help of fixed LODs. Okay. So I'll tell you this bit later. So now so after aggregating this data, right? Now I have one question for you. What is my question is, what is the total amount here? Okay, total amount is like 1100, right? So total amount is 1100. So I am using this 1100 across each and every person here. 1100, 1100, and 1100. So I'm using the same total amount here across each and every person. Why? Because assume that I have a father. So that father has three children. So that father has total 1100 rupees only, and he is distributing this amount for each and every person here. So he is distributing for this their child A, child B, and child C. So total amount is 1100 rupees, and he is distributing the same amount for all these three persons. Okay. Now my simple question is, how much amount this person has given to this person A? For this child A, how much amount he has given? So that is 370. Then I want how much. So this is 370 is in terms of numbers, but I want to find out 370 is how much in terms of percentage. So how to do means 370 divided by total amount. Simple, right? 370 divided by total amount. So I just select this one, convert this into percentage by clicking on this percentage symbol. So out of the total amount, assume that the total amount, this is 1100, right? Assume that 1100 is 100% of the amount. 100%. So out of this 100%, this person has given 34%. 370 rupees are 34% to the given to the child A. And similarly, how to find out for the child B means same formula. Just drag it for this row and this row. Now you see 370 means 34%, 700 means 64%, 30%, 30 means 3%. So to achieve these type of requirements in Tableau, right, we have to go for fixed LOD. We have to go for fixed LOD. So total amount is 100%, right? So we have simply in Tableau, we are able to achieve these two columns. Column A we have achieved, column B we have achieved. But how to achieve this column C, total amount, how to achieve this one? Just give me a second. So how to achieve this column B, column C means uh, using fixed LOD, we have to achieve this column C. And once we achieve the column C, right, then we can simply achieve this column D. This is simply numerator divided by denominator. Okay. Let's see how to achieve this column C in Tableau. Let's create a calculation field, like go to create calculation field. So I can say this is a total sales, total amount, right? Total amount. Total amount is nothing but I want to use here fixed LOD to calculate the total amount. I'm using the fixed LOD here. So I'll tell you the syntax bit later. Now just drag the sum of spend amount here. Just click on. So any fixed LOD, the calculation is valid here. So what is the syntax for fixed LOD is, within the flower brackets, we have to write the or fixed LOD. Any LOD we have to write within these flower brackets. Now after that we have to write fixed here. If you are writing include LOD, you can write include here. If you are writing exclude LOD, you can write exclude here. So we have to write LOD here, like fixed LOD here. Now we have a colon here. So before colon, we have to use dimensions. Before colon, we have to use dimensions. After colon, we have to use measure. Measure means measure or it is a aggregated value. Hope you understood. Let me repeat one more time. Any LODs we have to write within these flower brackets. After that, we have to write fixed, include or exclude. Anyone only we can write here. We have colon here. So before colon, we have to mention dimensions. I can just simply mention how many dimensions I want. I can mention dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3. I can mention any number of dimensions. And based on my requirement, sometimes I don't mention any dimension also. That is also fine. I can mention dimensions, or I can't mention, no need to mention dimensions also sometimes. So for this particular scenario, I don't want to mention any dimension here. And after colon, I have to write measure here. So I can write only one measure only here. Like dimensions, dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, we cannot mention number of measures here. I can simply write only one measure only. I can simply mention only spend amount here, or I have to mention profit sales. We have to, after colon, we have to mention only one measure only. and that measure should be aggregated here. So this measure is aggregated using sum function. So in real time, you can, based on the requirement, you can use min function, max function, uh, count d function, any function you can use. Hope you understand. Now let's click on OK. So just double click on this total amount. Now you see I have achieved my total amount here. Total amount is third column I have achieved here. Now let's create one more calculation which is giving you the percentage. So let me write all the calculations, then I will explain you in bit detail one more time. Now percentage means numerator, that is 370. For person A, what is the numerator? 370 divided by total amount. So this 370 is coming because of this sum of spend amount. So numerator is sum of spend amount divided by denominator. Simple. Just click on OK. Just drag the percentage here. Now automatically this is giving 0, 1, 0 like this, like that. But I can go to this percentage drop down, format, change it to percentage. Now you see whatever the answer I got in Excel, I got the same answer here. Same. Please mute yourself. Okay. Okay. You see, I have achieved my requirement here. So if you try to uh, just go to format option, just remove the decimal numbers here. Now it is matching exactly with the what I see in the Excel file, 34, 64, and 3 percentage. So I can go to Excel, see 34, 64, and 3 percentage. Now I can achieve the same requirement with the help of other concept also in Tableau, but there are some scenarios where we have to use the fixed LOD only here. Okay. Now I'll tell you one more requirement here. Now my customer is asking that, my user is asking that I don't want to see the person B in the sheet. So he is asking me that don't show the person B in the sheet. So what I do simply, I'll simply filter it out, right? So I'll delete this row B here. Now you see, now I can see person A and person C only. Even if I remove the person B here, still my amount is same. Why? Because father has given 370 rupees only to the person A, and total amount also remains same, right? For person C also he has given 30 rupees only. The total amount also remains same only. So what is the expectation of client here is, even though if I remove the person B from the sheet, right? Even though if I filter the person B, what is the user requirement is, he want to still show the same percentage in the sheet. 34 for the person A, 3 percentage for the person B. So it is the user expectation. So I will go to my Tableau here. Now what I will do, if I want to remove the person B, right, then what I can do, I have to filter the data. So simply click on the person B, simply click on the exclude option, or just go back here, drag the name into the filter shelf, simply unselect the B here, just click on OK. Now you see my answer remains same here, 34 percentage and 3 percentage here. Okay. So if you want to achieve this type of requirement, like even if you are filtering some persons here, but still you want to see the same percentage for person A and person C, right? Then we have to go for this fixed LOD. Okay. I'm just renaming my sheet 4 to fixed LOD percentage here. Fixed LOD. And you see, without using fixed LOD also, I can achieve my same requirement using other options also. Let me show you what are the other options and what is the disadvantage, what is the limitation with the other options, I will tell you. I'm going to sheet 5 here, drag the name person into row shelf, drag the spend amount into the text here. I can see 37%, 730%. Now, simplest way to find out the percentage in Tableau is just to go to the sum of spend amount here. Simply go to the quick table calculation. Simply click on the percent of total. So when I click on the percent of total, right, what it will do is we are able to achieve the same requirement. Just click on the percent of total. So when I click on the percent of total, what the Tableau will do is first it will take new in the numerator it will take 370. So simple. What the Tableau will do is Tableau will try to find out what is the percentage of these 370 out of total value. Like that, it will try to find out. Let's go to the table calculator and simply do the percent of total and go to the format option and make it a zero decimal. You see, I simply got 34%, 64%, and 3%, which I achieved with the help of fixed LOD. I have a simple concept here to achieve the percent of total. But why we are going for this fixed LOD? So let me come to the second requirement. What is the second requirement of the person? What is the second requirement of the user is he want to see only person A1 and person C only in the sheet. So I'll follow the same approach. Drag the name into filter shelf. Simply uncheck the person B here. Now let's see what will happen. So before applying the filter, it is 34 and 3%. Just remember, when I unset the person B and when I click on apply here, now you see what happened. For person A, now I am getting 93%, and for person B, for person C, I am getting 8%. So which is a wrong value? If you go with this approach, right? If you go with this table calculation and percent of total, it is giving you the wrong answer here. Okay, so why we are getting some wrong answer here? So how this percent of total is working actually, I will tell you. So let me go to the Excel file. Now, when I remove person B here, right? Let me take this here into separate. So when I remove person B here, now what the Tableau will do is, now what is the total value here? 370 plus 30 here. Okay, so 370 plus 30 means it is a 400. Now will Tableau will aggregate the data at those dimension values which it is seeing in the sheet here. Now Tableau will change this total value to 400. Why? Because in the sheet I can see only A and C only. If I do the total of these A and C, it is summing up to 400. Because of that reason, this percentage of total option is changing the denominator here. You see, the numerator is remaining same, but the denominator is changing here. Why? Because what the Tableau will do is Tableau will do the total of all the amount which it is seeing in the Tableau sheet only. In the Tableau sheet, it is seeing only A and C only. So the total amount is now becoming 370 plus 30. It is becoming 400 here. Because of that reason, this percentage is changing to 93% and 8%. Okay, so based on the requirement, we have to decide that we have to go for this fixed LOD option, or we have to go for this percent of total option. Percent of total option we have to decide. So if your user is asking that when I remove the person B, now I can see 370 plus 30, which is 400 only, right? If it is your user requirement, then go for this percent of total option only. But if it is your user requirement that even if you remove one person here, the total should be fixed only. The denominator should be fixed only. It should not change actually. So if it is your requirement, then go for fixed LOD here. Okay. So what the fixed LOD is doing is, even though we remove the person B here, right? Still in the total, it is calculating that person B total also in the this total here. Okay. What is the total for person B here? 200 plus 500, 700, right? So 400 plus 700. So that is becoming 1100. So even though you filter the data, the total is remaining same here. So if you want to achieve this type of requirements in real time, we have to go for a fixed LOD. Now what we understood from the fixed LOD is, even though you filter the data, person B here, This fixed LOD is not depending upon this dimension filters. Fixed LOD will not depend upon the other dimensions. So it is as per our definition here. If I go for my definition here, what I have written here, fixed LOD not depends upon any other dimensions except the context filter. So we have seen this context filter in the while we are doing the condition option top option, right? So same thing here also. Why? Because if you go for this percent of you remember this, right? You remember this option like order of filters in Tableau. You see this order of filters. I shown you earlier. Condition and top option are not depends upon the dimension filters. You see, if you see this order, right, this condition option and top option will depend upon the above filters only, not on the below filters. Because of that reason, as the dimension filters are just below these options, these filters will not depend upon the dimension filters, measure filters, and these filters also. So all these filters will depend upon the filters which you can see in the above of these options. So these filters will depend upon the fixed LOD, top option, condition option, sets. These will depend upon the context filters, data source filters, and extract filters only. So very important for you to remember this order of filters in the Tableau. Okay. Now you see in the sheet 4, I have achieved using fixed LOD, I have achieved the same percentage. Even though if I filter the data, person B, still I can see the 34% and 3% only for the person A and C here. Why? Because in the denominator, I am fixing my sales to total sales. So this sales is because of person A, person B, and person C. Even though I filter the data, even though I remove the person B here in the sheet, still my fixed LOD is not depending upon this filter here. Still it is giving the same 1100 only. Not only this, even if you show the name as a filter here, even if you unselect the person A also here, still I can see for person C, the sales remain, the spend amount remaining same 30 only, total amount remains 1100 only. So this 1100 is because of person A, person B, and person C. Okay, but if you go for sheet 5, where we have achieved using percent of total option here, if you try to select only person C here, right, you see what I'm getting here, 100 percentage. Why? Because for person A, what is that spend amount? 30 rupees. And in the while calculating the percentage, right, what the Tableau will do is, in the sheet it is showing, it is seeing the numerator is 30 rupees here. So it will take that in the denominator, it will take the total sales also 30 rupees only. In this case, numerator and denominator both are becoming same. Because of that reason, we are getting this 100 percentage here. Okay. If you want to see how the Tableau is doing this calculation percent of total, right? So what we have done, simply go to the percent of total here, just go to drop down, go to table calculation. We are selected percent of total, right? So open new calculation here and simply drag this calculation here. Now you see in the back end, Tableau is applying this formula. In the numerator, it is taking sum of sale, sum of spend amount only. But in the denominator, it is using one more function which is called total function. Total means what it will do? It will go to the sheet here. In the sheet, it will try to do the summation of all the rows here. But in the sheet, I have only one row only. Person C, I have only person C only I have. So numerator is become 30 only, denominator also 30 only here. Because of that reason, I can see 100 percentage here. Okay. But if you go to my fixed LOD, if you go to my fixed LOD here, right? Fixed LOD numerator is 30 here, denominator is 1100, which is not depending upon the person A, person B, person C. It will take the total amount and it will fix the denominator. So what is the LOD? While calculating percentages, what the fixed LOD will do? Fixed LOD will fix the denominator. So we have to answer this in the real time. Fixed LOD will fix the denominator. It will take total sales irrespective of dimension filters, irrespective of dimension filters. Okay. So even though I have only seen the sheet, right? But the denominator which is coming because of the fixed LOD, it will consider all the persons here. Okay, like that. So till now, any questions? So it is very important. Like it is about aggregations and all those row level aggregation, like all those. So you have to understand these requirements. So any questions for you? Till now?
Venkat, I actually have one question.
Okay.
Right now, Venkat, the denominator stays at 1100 because it's like a total of the
All the
amount, right?
persons in the, yeah, correct.
Is it possible to do the same thing but with a if it's not a number, if it's like a date or something?
Yeah, we can do. Still, we can do. Okay, I'll come to that requirement quickly.
Okay, cool.
So assume that there are no questions. So now, what is the next requirement? In real time, sometimes in the denominator you are using fixed LOD. Because of this reason, this fixed LOD is not depending upon this dimension filter. Because of that reason, still I can see here total 1100 here. But sometimes in real time, my user is asking that, okay, I understand that you are using fixed LOD in the denominator, but I want this fixed LOD to depend upon this some dimension filters. In general, fixed LOD will not depend upon the dimension filters or any other filter except the context filter. But my user is asking that, okay, if I uncheck my simple requirement is my fixed LOD should depend upon this dimension filter. He is asking that one. Now what I will do for my fixed LOD to depend upon my dimension filter, there are two approaches. The first approach is straightforward. This fixed LOD depends upon the below filters. Below we have dimension filter, so it is not depending upon the dimension filter. So what I have to do, if your fixed LOD to depend upon this dimension filter, I want to convert this dimension filter into a context filter. In that case, as the context filters are above in the order of the operations compared to the fixed LOD, now my fixed LOD will depend upon the context filters. Okay. So if you want your fixed LOD to depend upon any other dimension filters, you have to convert that dimension to a context filter. In that case, as the context filters are above in the order of the operations compared to the fixed LOD, now my fixed LOD will depend upon the context filter and it will take the data from this context filters. So I remember that I told you about this context filters in the filter starting class only. Just go through that class. Now, what I will do, I will change simply my name to context filter. You see, before changing to the context, my total denominator is 1100, which is coming up because of fixed LOD. The fixed LOD is not depending upon these dimension filters because even though I unselect A and B, still my denominator is not changing here. If you want to change this denominator based on the filter selection, like name filter, simply go to the filter shelf, click on this drop down and convert this into context filter. Now when you convert that into context filter, now you see in the sheet, now my denominator also changing to 30 only, because the context filter, now I have only person C data only. Now my fixed LOD will go to the context filter and it will see how many persons are there in the context. In the context filter, I have only one person only because I have selected only one person here. So my denominator also becoming 30 only here. Okay, if you select person B here or A here, now you see in the context filter I have person A and person C. my fixed LOD directly go to the context filter. It will see how many persons are there, A and B, A and C. It will do the summation of 370 and 30 here, which is summing up to 400. In this case, when you add something to the context filter, in this case, my percent of total here, my percent of total option, and fixed LOD both are same. Just give me. Okay. Okay. So this is one approach. If you want to make your fixed LOD to depend upon dimension filters, right? You have to add that filter to a context filter. Okay. This is the first approach. The second approach is remove this from the context filter. Now my denominator not depending upon the any dimension filter because we have removed that from the context filter here. Now, what is the second approach is I'll go to my total amount denominator, which is because of this fixed LOD, and I will include that dimension. I will include that dimension in the fixed LOD calculation itself. If you see, before column we have to use dimensions, after column we have to use aggregations. Because of that reason, if you want to include any dimension, you have to include the dimension here itself. Okay. So I think we have just click on apply. Now you see my fixed LOD is now depending upon the name filter here. But here we are not achieving the same requirement. But here it is showing some different thing here. But my intention is to, if you want your fixed LOD to depend upon the dimensions, right? We have to include those dimensions in the calculation itself, or we have to add those dimensions to the context filter. Now, one more approach we have here. Instead of including the name here, what I can do is we have seen the same thing for condition option and top option also, right? I can go here if name. So before taking the measure here, I will filter the data. If name equal to A, we have seen the same thing for condition option also. Just to go to the back the classes. Now you see, just click on apply. Now also my fixed LOD, that is denominator, is depending upon the it will take the data only for person A only. If you see, for person A, spend amount is 370. Because of that reason, this fixed LOD is showing the total amount here, 370 here. It won't consider any other filters. It won't consider any other values here. It will fix them. It will fix my aggregation for this person A only. For person A, what is the amount? 370. Because of that reason, it is showing the same amount everywhere. Okay. But as we discussed earlier, this A is a manual thing here. So what I can do, I can create a parameter here and I will replace this constant values with a parameter. So just go to the condition option and see what it have done there. Okay. Now, as I told you, my fixed LOD will not depend upon any other filter. I will show you what is the reason, what it will do, what it will do actually. If I take direct field, which is coming from the database, when I drag this into the text here, automatically it will show the total sales here. And when I drag my name here, automatically this sum of amount will be aggregated for each and every row here. It will be aggregated for each and every row, automatically divided for each and every person here. But even though I drag my name into the row shelf, still you want to fix this aggregation, right? Then we have to go for fixed LOD. Even though if you drag any dimension to the row shelf, still you want to see the same total like 1100, then we have to fix these aggregations using fixed LODs. Okay. Now you see, I just write one more time here. Fixed LOD. I want my diamond. I want my this fixed LOD should not depend upon any other dimension. So, if your LOD should not depend upon any other dimension, don't take that dimension to the calculation. Just click on apply here, double click on the calculation, which is because of fixed LOD, fixed sum. I can say fixed sum here. drag the measure name to the column shelf. Now you see, initially, initially my spend amount, which is a direct column from the database, and this fixed calculation, both are giving same answers. But you see, whenever I drag my name into the or any other dimension into the row shelf, my database column is changing this aggregation as per the dimensions which you see in the row shelf or column shelf, but my fixed LOD is not depending upon any other dimension. So if you want to achieve this type of requirement, if you want to fix the aggregation at a particular dimension levels, then go for fixed LODs. In this case, I want my fixed LOD to not depend upon any other dimension. So in the fixed LOD calculation, don't include any other dimension here. Okay. Now you see, just remove the name from the row shelf here. Now use the name as a filter only. Even if you uncheck any values here, my normal dimension which is coming from the database, normal measure is changing their values based on the filters, which is a normal behavior of the measure, but my fixed LOD is not changing. Even though if you take the month also here, maybe if you take any dimension, the fixed LOD will not depend upon those dimensions. So I want to tell you one more thing here. uh, if you want to include more dimensions in the fixed LOD, what I can do, you can include dimension one here, dimension one, comma, you can include dimension two here. Like that, you can include any dimensions in the fixed LOD calculation. Okay. But on the right side of the column here, we have to use only one aggregation here. Okay. So this is the, so my fixed LOD will fix the aggregation at a particular dimensions. At which dimensions? What are the dimensions you are using in the sheet? Okay. Now let's go to our previous requirement. What is our previous requirement? We have achieved some requirement using the condition option, right? So what is my requirement is, I want to show the count of customers whose sales are greater than or equal to 15,000. Simple. I want to show the count of persons whose sales are greater than 15,000. My answer should be like this one. For example, if there are 21 customers or 20 customers are having sales greater than 15,000, I want to show that count here, like 21 customers are there who are having sales greater than 15,000. So if you try to achieve this same thing with the help of calculations, you don't get answer. If you want to achieve this requirement, we have to go for either condition option or top option only. Using condition option, we have already seen how to achieve this. Now we will see how to achieve the same requirement using fixed LODs. First, we will see how to achieve the same requirement without using fixed LOD. Manually, we will see. Okay. So I go to sheet 8 here. The sheet 8 simply just connect to the sample superstore. Or let me take the simple data only here. Let me take the sample data only. Let me try. For person B, what is the total sales is 700, right? Okay, let me tell you with the simple data only. Why? Because it is very easy for us to understand with simple data. If I go for large amount of data, I don't understand how the calculations are working. Okay, my simple question here: how many persons are there having sales? Uh, just give me a second. How to see this? I'm just trying to achieve it. 7. Okay, let's say how many persons are there having sales greater than 400. Okay, so this is my requirement. So how to calculate this manually means, first aggregate the data at each customer level, each person name level. Try to aggregate the data. Then once you aggregate the data for each name here, then I can simply know, right? I can simply evaluate this condition for each and every person. So there are only one person, person B is having sum of amount spent greater than 400. So my final answer is 1 here. What is the count of persons here is 1 here, person 1. Now you see, I go to my simply Tableau here. So most of the time in real time, what you will do is most of the people will write in this way. They will write if condition here, if end condition. So sum of sales, sum of spend amount greater than or equal to 400. Then they they they're trying to count the name here. They're trying to count the name here. So before name, you have to use the count distinct option. Maybe because of data, okay, we get us. Just let's click on apply. Drag this into the text here. Now you see what is the answer I am getting here if I write this calculation. So most of the I have done so many interviews till now. If I ask someone, anyone, this answer, how many persons are there having sales greater than 400? I want to show the count of those persons. So they'll directly tell this answer actually, but which is a wrong answer. See, the sheet itself directly is showing the wrong value here. Why? How this calculation is working? We have to understand first. So I'll go by this line only. We'll see what will happen. Sum of amount spent greater than 400. First Tableau is trying to evaluate this condition. While evaluating this condition, what the Tableau will do is, Tableau first will try to find out what is the sum of amount spent. It will try to find out this answer. So it is very simple, right? How to find out means simply double click on the spend amount here, which is summing up to 1100. So on the left side, it will take 1100 here. Okay. On the left side, it will take 1100. I'm going to the next sheet here. On the left side, it will take 1100. And it is trying to compare it with the 400. Okay. So this condition is satisfying, right? As this condition is satisfying, what the Tableau is doing is, Tableau is directly going to the name field here. And in the name field, it is trying to calculate count of all these names here. So count of all the names are coming 3 here. So, but which is a wrong answer? You see that sum of amount Tableau is directly taking from the sheet which it is saying here. Even though we are not including the sum of amount in the sheet, Tableau is assuming that what will happen if I include the sum of amount in the sheet here. Tableau will do this only for measures only. By default, all the measures are automatically aggregated by Tableau, all the measures only. When you drag any measure into the sheet, or even though if you not drag into the sheet, Tableau will assume that what will be the sum of amount, sum of spend amount, if I drag that this field into the sheet here. So it is 1100. So based on this, Tableau is trying to evaluate the condition here. Because of that reason, we are getting some wrong answer here, which is 3 here, which is a wrong answer. Then how we have to write this calculation? What is the first step we have to write here is, this is the wrong answer actually. First, what we have to do in the Excel file, what we have done, first we are aggregating the data at a particular dimension level. So what we have to do, first for each and every person, we have to aggregate the data. For person A, we have to aggregate the data. For person B, we have to aggregate the data. For person C, we have to aggregate the data first here. Okay. First, we have to aggregate the data for each and every person. So these persons are coming from which field here? Name field. So in this sum of amount field, we are not mentioning. See, here we have so many dimensions are there. We have so many dimensions are there, but Tableau don't know that at which dimension level you want to take this aggregation. If you don't mention any dimension here, Tableau will directly take this amount from the sheet here. So we have to tell the Tableau that first we have to take the sum of amount for each and every person who is in the name field. Then we have to compare each and every person is greater than 400 or not. Then only we have to compare each and every person with this 400, with this right side amount. Okay. Now, how to aggregate the data for each and every person means simple. Now go to the fixed LOD here. To the fixed LOD, fixed. I want to aggregate the data for each and every person, right? So as I told you, the syntax of the fixed LOD is we have to write within the LODs here, within the flower brackets here. Then we have to just sum of amount here. Now remove the count field here. I will tell you this bit later. Now I will tell you what this Tableau is doing. First, it will try to evaluate the left side of the calculation. On the left side, what it will do is it will directly go to the name field here. In the name field, we have person A, person B, person C. For each and every person, it will aggregate the data first. For person A, it will aggregate the data. How much we are getting for person A? If I go to Tableau, it will be 370. See here, for each and every person, it will try to do the summation of all the rows. So very important. I'm taking too long time here. So it is very important to understand how it is behaving. For each and every person, it will take first person A, and for that person A, it will try to do the summation of all the rows. So it will get 370. It will go to person B, and person E is appearing in the two rows, right? So it will aggregate, it will do the summation of all those rows and it will give you that 700. Now it will go to the person C, and for all the person, for this person C, it will do, it will see how many rows this person C is there. And it will do the summation of all the rows and it will give you the result of 30. So on the left side, we got this answer. Now Tableau will try to compare this with the right side value. Yes, greater than or equal to 400. Greater than or equal to 400 or not, it will do. Greater than or equal to 400 or not, it will do. So while doing this comparison, this is wrong here, this is correct here, this is wrong here. So now this person will get in the output here. After then statement, what we are doing, we are using the name here. So it will try to take that person here, and we don't want the person name here. We want the count of persons. So for the oral if statement, we have to take the count d function here. Count d. Okay. Now let's click on apply. Now drag the calculation here. Now you see, sorry, I got the answer one here directly, which is a correct answer. Okay. In the interview also or in the real time also, you can simply identify that if you want to use the fixed LOD or not, you can simply identify. How means the users are simply uh, they are referring to a particular measure to a particular dimension here. For each and every person, they want to do the sum of spend amount. But you see how to use it. Okay, like hope that you understood that. You see, we are not using the name field in the anywhere in the sheet. We are not using the name field in the row shelf, column shelf, or anywhere. We are directly using the name field in the fixed LOD itself, and we are aggregating the name field for each and every person here, and we are trying to evaluate the count D here. Orally, we are using the count D here. So in that way, we can achieve the requirement what we have achieved with the help of condition option. See, let's see in the condition option what we are doing. So in the condition option also, what I am doing to achieve the same requirement with the help of condition option, what I will do, first drag the name into text here, try to count how many persons are there. There are 3 persons. Now drag the name into the filter shell, go to the user option, go to the condition option. You see here, whatever we are doing with the help of this fixed LOD, we are aggregating we are linking the name field with the sum of spend amount, right? Here also we will do the same here. So this is a name field here. Link this with a particular measure here. Go to a spend amount here. Take the summation here. This summation is equal to this summation here. Apply the condition greater than or equal to 400. Now let's click on apply. Now you see, using condition option also, I got the same answer. So how to decide we have to go for this condition option or we have to go for fixed LOD? Fixed LOD, fixed LODs always decrease the performance. Okay, fixed LODs always decreases the performance, decrease performance. So whenever possible, try to use the condition option only. If there are any requirements which are not possible with the help of condition option, then only go for the fixed LODs. If you use the fixed LOD, what the fixed LOD has to do means, fixed LOD has to go through each and every person and it has to fix the aggregation, which will take some time here. So whenever possible, go for direct calibrations only. Whenever it is not possible, go for fixed LODs. Fixed LOD is the last preference we have to give. We can achieve the same requirement with the help of other topics also. Let's remember this thing. How to achieve calibrate count of customers or person having sales greater than 400, greater than 1500. I'll try to keep on repeating the same question through the entire all the topics, because which is very important thing. Now, okay, I'll finish this thing in a few minutes. Now I have one more requirement here. For this requirement also, assume that we have to go for this fixed LOD or not. Okay, simple. I will tell you a simple thing. I have person A. Okay, this is the one more requirement I'm telling you. I have person A. He spent some 100 rupees in the January, 150 in the February, 120 in the March here, 120 in the March here. Now, now, now my requirement is I want to find out what is the maximum amount each person has spent. What is the maximum amount each person has spent? What I can do simply, I go to this person A, I'll scan through all the rows. What is the maximum amount? 150 here. So this is 150. And I go to person B here. Person B is existing in the two rows here. What is the maximum amount? 500. I have to show the 500 here. Now I go to person C. He is existing only in the one row only. So the maximum and minimum, everything is same. That is 30 rupees. 30. Now to achieve this requirement, this is very simple. How we are achieving this requirement is simply we are taking the max of spend column, max of spend amount column. So if you want to take max of the spend amount column, it is direct option only. I can go to Tableau here. I can go to Tableau. Simple. When I drag spend amount into the text here, by default, Tableau will do the Tableau will take the summation of spend amount here. So what I'll do, I'll go to the measure sum here. I'll try to take the maximum here. Now you see what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will go to the spend amount column. It will try to take maximum amount from all the rows in the spend amount column, which is giving you 500. Now, whenever I drag my name into the row shelf, what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will take the max of spend amount only. Now, for each and every person, like this, for each and every person, it will try to take the maximum here. So I got 150, 530 rupees, uh, which can be achieved in a simple manner. Which is very simple thing here. But we have one more requirement here, which is very complex thing, which we have to achieve using fixed LODs only in the real time. Now, what is that requirement now? Now, my requirement is what is the latest amount you have spent? Latest amount in a month. Latest amount what you have spent here. So it is a very difficult thing which cannot be achieved using simply like using max function or like that. We cannot achieve simply using max function. So I'll tell you that requirement here. What is my requirement is Person A is spent January 100 rupees, February 150 rupees, March 120 rupees. And what is the latest month for this person A? March here. So I have to show what is the latest amount that is spent by the person A. And while calculating this amount here, what I have to consider here, I have to consider here month column. So I have to first aggregate the data at month level here, or I have to take first I have to consider the month here, and I have to take the latest month here. I have to take the latest month here, and corresponding to the latest month, what is the total sales? 120 here. I have to show that here. I have to show that 120 here. So if I go to person A, what is the latest month? March here. For that March, what is the amount here? 120. Okay. For person B, what is the latest month? Latest amount 500. February it is 500. Latest month he spent on 500. Person C 30 only. So I have to show this thing here in the tableau. So first what I have to do, for each and every month I have to aggregate the data, or for a particular person, first I have to take the latest month. For that latest month, I have to show the amount here. Here we have two requirements. First requirement is first get the latest month for each person. Then find out the spend amount here. I'll go to my tableau here. Let's go to the calculation here. Here I am using fixed LOD here. Fixed. I have to aggregate the data at month level, which is a dimension here. Then I have to take the sum of amount spent. Okay. So this is nothing. Now I have to write a if condition here. See, my output is not this one actually. First, I am aggregating the data at month level. Then, for this latest month, I have to take the for this latest month I have to take the spend amount. Sorry. I'm very sorry. So, as discussed, what is our requirement? First, for each and every person, we have to identify the latest month, right? Latest month means maximum month. So sorry. So for each and every person, one second. So as discussed in the Excel, right? First we have to take the maximum month, that is the latest month for each and every person. So how to take that is max of month here. Okay. So this is the first step we have to achieve. So we are achieving this with the help of a fixed LOD. Then for this latest month, we have to get the spend amount. So when you are writing then statement, we have to go for if and else statement. If end here. Now you see, I'm just using the equal condition here. So let me write the condition. Okay. Now you see, now the calculation is valid here. Now I'll tell you what it is doing here. So let me tell you first. Let me apply it here. Now let's drag the calculation to here. Now you see, remove the spend amount here. Now you see, I got the answer here. For person A, it is showing 120. For person B, it is showing 500. For person C, it is showing 30 here. I achieved the requirement using this fixed LOD concept here. Now let's see what it will do here. As I told you, this fixed LOD will take the latest month, that is maximum month for each and every person. And so here what we will get, I will get here January, February, March, I will get here for each and every person. And on the right, on the left side, what we have month means this month will have all the months, January, February, March, like that it will have. And on the right side, if I take person A, for person A, what is the maximum month? Assume that it is March. Okay. And on the left side, I have January, February, March. And on the right side, for person A, The latest month is March here. And when these both are equal, when we have March and March, then only I want to spend amount in the output here. That is how this calculation will work. Okay. So if you're a bit confusing, so this is a sheet 8 here. Let me go to, sorry, it is a sheet 7 here. Now let me go to sheet 8. In the sheet 8, I will show you how it will do. I'll take person AI here. For each and every person, I will take. I'll take the exact date here. So see, first drag the month into the row shelf here. By default, it will show the years only. So what you will do, you will go to the exact date here. Just click on the exact date, then click on the discrete option. Now it will show the all the dates here. Now you see, just drag the spend amount here. Now, what is my requirement here? First, go to the person A. For person A, for latest month, what is the sales amount? 120. I have to show this I have to show this amount only in the sheet. Okay, like that. And go to the person B. For person B, what is the latest month? February is the latest month. What is the sales amount? A spend amount 500. So I have to show this amount here. So on the left side of the calculation, I'm taking all these months. And on the right side of the calculation, I am taking the maximum month for the person here. What is the maximum month for the person? March here. So when these two are equal, what is the maximum month on the right side? March here. When these two are equal, then only I want to take the sales in the output, spend amount in the output. So that is the calculation I'm writing here. So I go to sheet 7. So that is the calculation I have written here. Go to calculation 2. Now in this particular case, how to identify that we have to use fixed LOD here. How to identify that we have to use fixed LOD here. Why? How to assume, how to simply identify is, you see, in this calculation, we are using maximum month here. And this month, we are not using in the sheet anywhere. In the sheet anywhere, we are not using the month here. But still, without using this month in the sheet, still I want to aggregate the data at this month level. Okay. For each and every person, I want to take the maximum month here. But I'm not using the month in the sheet anywhere here. So if you want to do some calculation at a particular dimension level, and the dimension you are not using in the sheet, so in that case we have to go for a fixed LOD here. Okay, so hope you are see, if you are keep on going, if you keep on going right, then you are able to understand here. But in the sheet 8, we are doing the analysis, right? For this person, he is having all the months here. So this is called a left side one. Okay, so this is the left side one, and on the right side we have this one. So let's see now how this right side will work actually. So let's take the right side part, which is a fixed LOD. Just copy this thing. Just copy this thing. Directly go to the row shelf here. Just directly paste it here. Now you see what is happening. Corresponding to this particular thing, we are getting this column here. Now you see, as we already know that, as we already know that this fixed LOD will fix the aggregation at a particular dimension levels. So what it will do, in the fixed LOD we are having name here. So what it will do, first it will go to person A, and for this person A, it will try to aggregate the, it will try to take the maximum month here. So what is the maximum month we are getting here? You see, for each and every row I am getting March, March, March only, which is the latest one, which is the latest one. So right side one is always giving you the March only for a person A. Now what we are doing here, we are comparing the left side one, this one, with the right side one. Now when these two are equal actually, here it is not equal, here it is not equal, here only these two are equal actually. Here it is March, here also it is March. Then only I want this amount in the output here. Now you see, I got the answer here. Okay. If I go to sheet 7, I got the answer in that way. Okay, hope you understand. So if you want to fix the aggregation, see, I'll tell you, I'll try to explain more things to you actually. So just give me a second. So this is sheet 7, calculation 2, right? Calculation 2 here. You see, on the right side one, it is fixing the aggregations, right? On the right side, it is fixing the aggregations here. So you see, now this fixed LOD depends upon only which dimension? Name dimension only it will depend upon. It will not depend upon the other dimensions which you are using in the sheet. In the sheet, I'm using name dimension and month dimension also. But my fixed LOD will directly go to the name dimension and it will go to the first person and it will fix the maximum month. So what is the maximum month for this person? This one only. It won't bother about this month dimension here. Okay. So let's try to tell you the same thing with one more example. Let's connect to the sample superstore data. So I will tell you this one example and I will finish the things. You see, I have a customer name here and I have sales here. Okay. You see, for each and every person, first we are aggregating the total sales. For person A, I got 886 here. This 886 is not because of a 1 month here for that person. So this is because of all the dates here. So if you want to understand for which dates this person has made some transactions, right? Drag the order date into the row shelf. Now convert. So initially it is giving you years only. 1921 only it will give you. Date fields by default will show the years only. If you want to show the exact date like month and date day also, just drop down it, go to the exact date option. Now it will be converted into the measure here, continuous field. Continuous fields always generate bar charts only. Now go to the drop down, just click on the discrete option. Now you see for person A, he is having three dates here 2019, 2019, and 2021. For latest month, what is the total sales here? For the latest order date, what is my requirement is I want to see that what is the latest amount I spent in the Amazon. I have ordered some products in the Amazon. What is the latest order amount I want to know? For each and every customer, I want to show what is the latest order amount I want to show. Okay. Now, you see for the latest, for this person, what is the latest date? This one. Corresponding to that, what is the amount I have? 564. I have to show this amount. My requirement here is two things I have to achieve. First thing, I want to show the latest order date sales. Second requirement is total sales. Total sales is very easy. Why? Because if you remove the order date here, automatically sales will be show the total sales only. If you want to show the total sales, that is not a problem. Why? Because Tableau automatically aggregate the data for all the dimensions which are in the sheet. In the sheet, I have customer name. Tableau automatically aggregate the sales for each and every customer. But what is my next requirement is for latest date, what is the total, what is the sales for each and every person. When I said when I say latest date for each and every person, that date we are not showing in the sheet. We are not showing the date in the sheet, but still I want to get the sales for that latest date. So this is how you have to understand that we are not showing the date in the sheet, but still I want to aggregate the data for date level. So fixed, take the order date on the right left side. After column, take the maximum of order date. Okay. See, if you want to fix the aggregations at those dimensions which are not using in the sheet, order date I am not using in the sheet, but still I want to get the order date for this each and every person. After that, I want to get the sales for this order date. Same thing what I explained you earlier. Just write the if statement here. Now on the right side, we have the latest date for each and every. Sorry, we have to get, sorry, not the date here. We have to get the customer name here. Sorry. For each and every customer name, we are getting the maximum date, and on the left side, we are having all the dates. On the left side, we are having all the dates for the customer in the data, but on the right side, we are getting the latest data. Then I want sales here, and so this is the calculation. This is the calculation one. Just click on OK, and this calculation one, just double click here. Now you see for the latest month, it is showing which LOD is showing the latest sales for the latest order date, and on the second column, it is showing the total sales. So if you want to aggregate the data at a particular dimensions which are not using in the sheet. See, for each customer we are using in the sheet, but this order date we are not using in the sheet. So for that customer, we have to get the latest date first, and for that latest date, we are comparing with all the dates, and we are getting the total sales here. So this is one of the most required, most complex calculation. If you try to achieve the same thing in the Power BI, right, it is a very, very lengthy calculation. So Tableau is very simple. Um, it will automatically aggregate the data at the dimensions which you see in the sheet. So if you want to aggregate the data for those dimensions which are not using in the sheet, then go for fixed LOD. Very simple. If you want to do the aggregation at those dimensions which are not using in the sheet, right, then go for a fixed LOD. Or if you want to fix the aggregation at a particular dimension levels, then go for fixed LOD. See, I can achieve the same requirement with the help of include LOD also. Now let's okay, it is already late. So okay. Any questions for you here? So we'll try to finish it tomorrow.